Hey guys, it's Peter Chen, making a third video of the session for the first time. Uh, Games are good. We got deep stacks on both tables. On table 2, we have pocket kings, 3-betting against the cutoff. On table 1, I flatted a hijack open with 10-9 suited on the button and the flop went 4 ways. I obviously have no idea what to do in a 4-way pot. I do have loads of backdoor draws, so maybe I can start betting this hand. I also have 10 high. It looks like the only worst hand I could have is 9-8, and is that really even worse? So I'll start off with a bet. I think in multi-way pots we want to be mostly betting hands with equity, and this can make a lot of hands with equity on the turn. We have very few hands with direct equity, basically just 6-5. So I'll be wanting to bet a hand like this or 9-8 quite a bit of the time. We do have gut shots with like ace-3 and ace-5, but those are also ace-highs. I'm not sure how much showdown value ace-high has in a four-way pot, so maybe I do want to be betting those. Let's go for value with our 9. I think the big blind can call us with a 7. The opener might have some stronger pairs, but also might have ace-7 or pocket 8s or pocket 6s, 5s that could call us. I really don't have a strong grasp of how good of a hand is needed to call. But, I doubt that either of those two know either. On table 1, 7s, I could either raise or call. So we face a squeeze from the small blind. And I'm going to call. On table 2, under the gun opens and king 10 suited. I could either 3-bet or call this. And on table 1 with my overpair, I think I could raise this sometimes or call it. And folding my king 10 on table 2. On table 2, I get dealt the same hand, raising it in the hijack. And on table 1 with pocket 7s, I think I'm always calling one more street. Folding most rivers. This is a river that's actually pretty good for my hand, so maybe I have to call it again. I don't want to have a heart in my hand. My 7s block no bluffs. He can never raise me pre-flop with a 7, I think. Timed out and folded. I'm not too unhappy about my fold. I was very close anyways. Like I think basically any pair between sevens and tens is going to be mixed. Like if I thought it was going to be like a slam dunk call, I would not have waited until I had 1 second on my time bank to call it. So a little interesting hand going on here. We get the min 3 bet. It's possible Alberto didn't see that there was an open and just clicked the raise button. Might be possible he got a little too excited about his hand and forgot to put in a size. Might just be a misclick. A lot of possibilities there when you're trying to think about what's going on in someone else's head. On table 1, opening the cutoff with Queen 8 suited. And I'll be folding to this 3 bet. Table 2, opening cutoff with 10-7. And folding to a 3 bet. Now I don't really like to fold to this small 3 bet, especially with this suited hand. I really think it's kind of close. On table 1, hijack opens. I could 3 bet this hand sometimes, mostly calling. And I'm going to call this bet on the flop. I don't think I'm folding any pair with a spade. And I'm going to try to check this down. I don't think I'm calling again if I face a bet on the river. I'm just doing a lot of folding now. This ace four, I think I'm mostly calling. I could 3-bet it sometimes. Against the shorter stack, I want to be 3-betting more offsuit hands, so at 100 big blinds, there'd be hands like king queen, king jack, offsuit, ace 10 offsuit that I would 3-bet a very small percent of the time, and I would be 3-betting hands like this a little bit, and king x, queen x suited connectors. The shorter we get, the more I want to switch out these suited hands and add in more offsuit hands. And I'm going to try to check down my ace high. Had an interesting spot on the other table too. So there was let me get that back up here. There was an open. I called the big blind, and I called a small bet on the flop, and then checked down my ace high. So I think this hand is actually one where I could consider betting the river just because of the board run out. Ace high is going to be pretty weak here. On table 2, I have a hand where I could maybe 4-bet sometimes, maybe call sometimes. I think mostly folding. On table 1, I 3-bet small blind versus button with 9s. On the flop, I'm going to be pretty much always betting half pot with my hand. Maybe I could be betting a little bigger, not sure. And good turn for me to keep betting on. Also, I have the nuts, so that helps with my betting. On table 2, defended the big blind with jack 6 suited. I'm going to check and call. Pick up a flush draw. I'm going to check and call again. Basically have a pretty middle strength hand with my pair of 6s. Now I think I can go for value. I'm getting called by quite a few worse hands if I bet small. Either worse 6s or pocket 5s, pocket 4s, some ace highs. Table 1, opening ace queen off from under the gun. Table 2, open pocket 4s from button. On table 2, opening hijack with 10-8 suited. On table one, I'm going to be mostly calling this Jack 10, 3-betting a very small percent of the time. Actually, I think when we're 200 big blinds deep, I'll be 3-betting this never. Like I was saying before, when we get shorter, we're valuing hands like this higher, and when we're getting deeper, we're valuing suited hands more. On table two, I opened 10-8, got called by the big blind, bet half pot, and got raised. So this is a pretty clear call. I'm not strong enough to 3-bet and too strong to fold. I think against the pot size bet, I still have to call again. It might be a fold, but I really don't know. Facing the check, I don't think I'm getting value from anything worse. Like, there's a small chance that he has some 9-8, but mostly just bluffs that are giving up. Or a stronger 8, or maybe some kind of slow play. On table one, opening button with 6-5 suited. Against a 3-bet, I'm always going to be calling. On table two, I think this is it's a kind of loose defend. On table one, I think the 6-5 I would call against a small bet, but fold against a half pot bet. I have a lot of draws, so it might still be a call. I'm not really sure. So on table two, I went check check on the flop. I bet small on the turn. Tempted to just go for a very big bet here. I have a bunch of 8s. I don't block too many of his weaker calls. Maybe he has some 10-9, but I think a lot of the time that just gets bet by itself on the flop. On table one, just going to go for a shove. There's the one short player, but as the caller should pretty much be never calling anyways, and then the guy with 100 bigs who's already put in 13. Hard to pick a 4-bet size that isn't all in. I'm not saying I won't have small 4-bets. I think hands like aces and like whatever bluffs go along with those aces can make a small 4-bet. But maybe with like kings, queens, ace, king, I just want to be shoving them a lot. On table 2, I could 3-bet or call this. I'm going to call this time. And I'm not going to fold this flop with king high, a heart. I think I would fold it without the heart. I'm not sure if that's right or not. And obviously here I have a lot of showdown value. So I'm just going to check it back. Lots of weaker hands for me to bet. Same thing on the river. If it checks to me, I'm just going to check it back. I think this is actually pretty close. Maybe I'm only supposed to be calling with ace highs though. I mean, he's betting an ace with almost no kicker. He has the weakest ace with a kicker for value, so I think if he's correct in what he thinks I'm calling, I am supposed to be calling a king sometimes. Yeah, I don't expect that he's making some kind of exploitive play thinking I'm calling too much. So his bet of ace high, I think, is a indication that he also thinks I'm supposed to be calling with king high. This jack 9, I could 3-bet or call. I'm going to call this time. We flop a pretty nice hand. I think he's betting his range for a small size here. I'm just going to raise. Maybe I'm supposed to flat my straight sometimes. I think basically just trying to get the money in makes a lot of sense. I'm already very polarized when I raise the flop, so I think I don't need to think about my turn sizing too much. I can just go for a big size. Now I'm really not sure if my hand is strong enough to be betting for value. I think I just want to be betting aces, aces and bluffs. And it's pretty tough to add a small size in there when most of my bluffs turn into the nut straight. I guess I'll just check it back. Really unsure about that one. So we have aces on table 1, opening the cutoff. On table 2, I have a hand that will likely be defending the big blind. So yeah, we're going to go 3 ways here with my 4-3 suited. So here I think aces is a hand where I'm going to put in a small raise. Especially in position, the small raise makes a lot more sense than the other one where I had ace king and shoved. I think here it would still make sense to shove if I had something like ace king or pocket queens, or maybe a pocket pair lower than that. I'm not sure which, but a lot better to be raising small when we're in position and big when we're out of position. I'm going to end the video after this hand, folding the king 7 obviously. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next week.